sure many of you are aware of the online game called World of Warcraft. Well, recent events going on in the game have been aligning with historical figures and events that no one is seeing and no one is even talking about. There is a character called Sylvanas Windrunner, and after doing some extensive research, I believe she's actually mirroring what they call the ancient mother of demons, known as Lilith. And some of you might be familiar with who Lilith is, but I'm going to explain to you. And in future events, she will be helping Shiva, the god of destruction, in order to shatter the veil of time. See, the thing is, Sylvanas was originally an elf, and she was one of 3 daughters of the High Order General of the armies protecting her homeland, okay? I know some of you, especially my normal viewers, are like, what? Y'all stick with me, okay? So in the story, she defeated and turned into something called the Banshee Queen. And she was ripped from her carnal body, tricked into serving a different character who was known as the Lynch King, okay? Arthas of Mentel, I might not be saying that right. Many don't realize that the name is an anagram for Satan material, okay? The Banshee Queen has the power to raise the dead. I know, just stick with me. Lilith was the mother of demons. Recently, though, in this game, she decided to do something so evil that it's gotten people in an uproar. They don't understand how she got so powerful, how all these things perspired, and I'm hoping to enlighten you on this. See, the World of Warcraft, on its surface, just seems like another game. Another fantasy, second life mystery, you know, like just an online persona game that so many people have, right? There's many of them. But as many people remember, when Snowden did those leaks, supposedly, he came out and said that the CIA, NSA, GCHQ were all spying on people in World of Warcraft. And for my normal watchers, you know that Snowden was not exactly a real whistleblower, but of course they do put out truthful information that they don't want, you know, the information they want you to know about, but not all the information. So the real question is, why are they even involved with this game? There's hundreds, thousands of games. Why this one? Okay, so let's get on with it. So Lilith was the mother of demons. And like I said, recently she became so evil, it was completely unexpected. She burned down something that was called the World Tree. And that very much mirrored what Christians would know as, in Genesis, the Tree of Life. Lilith historically was known as actually the first woman. It wasn't Eve. Well, she predated Eve, and in Jewish lore, that's what there says. And even if we look in, you know, the Christian version of Genesis, it does seem to show that man and woman were made at the same time. But then in the next chapter, it goes on to say that Eve was pulled out of Adam's rib, right? And so it does seem to say that there was 2 times that woman was created. So that is quite confusing, but let's go on. So in the Jewish lore, it says that Lilith had a relationship with Adam prior to Eve. Her independence and her desire to be seen as equal. She wanted to be equal. She was what's known now as like a feminist, I guess. And she essentially left the Garden of Eden, okay? And then Adam was alone, and so God gave him Eve. She was more docile, gullible, and as we know, she is the one that fell for the serpent's tricks and what is got everybody cast out, and it was the fall of man, right? Okay, nobody really ever talks about Lilith anymore, well, except for the recent events that they came out with, like a movie, and people began wondering, wait, who is this Lilith? Was she really the first woman? So there's been back and forth, was she not? I tend to think possibly yes, but let's not go with my opinion. But you know, in the Bible they never really spoke about her after that. It was like she was there and then she left and never spoke of again. They didn't speak of her motives or what happened to her after that in the Bible that we know of now, you know, and many of us are aware that there were parts of the Bible that were left out, but I'm not making this, I'm trying to just explain it for everyone, okay? So in the most recent expansion of the game, it's called ShadowLands. The people at Blizzard Entertainment have shown this character, Sylvanus, defeating the Lynch King, removing his crown. If you haven't seen the cinematic version, it's pretty intense, and a lot of people will see the connections pretty much, especially after you hear this explanation, okay? So she removes his crown and she breaks it into two, which shatters what looks like a dome, an icy dome over this flat icy plain, which is very interesting in the wake of things that with some flat earth people, because the thing is, she states, I will set us all free. And my thought is, could this be a reference to Lilith perhaps freeing the demons, which we know to be locked down in Antarctica? Could the flat earthers be right about one certain thing, which would be the dome? And I have already, you know, spoken of that, and there's much evidence of that there is absolutely caves with very, very high domes, and so it's like this ice castle, okay? And even if you look at the World of Warcraft map and the map of Antarctica, I'm going to show it right here, it's pretty hard to say that that's not what the people at Blizzard are trying to tell us. The veil being shattered or removed also could be a reference to the story in Revelations where it speaks of Christ coming to claim his bride. And what do we know about weddings and brides? They lift the veil, right? And you can, in Revelations, they even speak of the 7 veils, right? And I want you to think about what a veil looks like, okay? What's the first thing that you would explain about a veil? Well, lace of some sort, right? But you would think of, it's not exactly solid. It's not like brick. You can kind of see through it. Like a blizzard. Yeah. Okay, so let's continue. Or perhaps it could be, you know, the destruction of time altogether. See, it is stated in many, even especially with the current quantum physics and stuff like that, that time actually is our prison. And it's that time's not linear. And it's the binding of thinking that time is linear that keeps us imprisoned to know the extent of the entire universe that God created. Okay? So let's continue. So, as a result of the efforts being made by CERN, what many people have already said that it has something to do with changing of things. Many people are aware that there is a statue of Shiva outside of CERN, and everybody's freaked out about that. But the common people aren't. It's kind of like the truther community. We understand that there is a Shiva statue out there. And the thing about that has plagued people for years. Like, why is it there? What's going on? Well, oddly enough, back to the game, Shiva had a wife named Privati. I might be saying that wrong. And they had a son named Ganashya. Ganashya in Sanskrit translates to Lord of the Hordes. And in the game, Sylvanus Windrunner is seen as the war chief of the Horde faction. Because there's two. There's the Horde and the Alliance. Okay? All of this is way too much to be coincidence. Add in all the history that's being changed through the quote-unquote Mandela effect, the Bible itself having scriptures possibly changed right before our eyes. And, you know, could that be maybe it's being changed to what it's supposed to say? I don't know. Maybe it hasn't been changed at all. We can't make any, won't make any concrete confirmation on that. But could this all be underway and the people at Blizzard actually are trying to subtly disclose what's really going on? Could all the recent discoveries that we have made in Antarctica be a warning? You know, we found many dragons and castles, and the man holding the sickle, you know, what we kind of call the person of death or whatever, with the cape and the sickle. The serpents, the just things that just don't make any sense in our world. And we're finding those in Antarctica. You know, it just seems like maybe they are trying to give us a warning sign that the demons of hell, and I'm not being funny, y'all, really listen, have been essentially going to be, you know, let loose into Earth with the cracking of these veils. Because there's not just one veil, and we can see that in, you know, Genesis, we can see it in multiple things, but any type of tear in the veil would allow certain demons to come out, and we are seeing an increase in demonic possession and other things. In Revelation, this is another point I want to make. In Revelation, it describes a woman clothed in purple, and all of the pictures of Sylvanus Windrunner and Shiva seem to be in purple. Could this fictional character actually be warning us about Lilith herself? Originally, Sylvanus Windrunner, we can see her photos before she became Banshee Queen and now. And, you know, I know it sounds like a lot to take in, but the thing is, and what a lot of us know, our history has been hidden from us. That's not a secret to most of us. A lot of our historical books have been changed. Was that to protect us? I don't know. But when you look in the Bible, and it's foretelling all of these things that have already happened, or that are happening right now. And the book was written thousands of years ago. It's kind of hard to dismiss it as nothing. And I could go on and on about the comparisons in World of Warcraft to the Bible, and it's overwhelming. It's absolutely overwhelming. They even came out with their book, and it's called Chronicle. And in this new expansion, ShadowLands, it has these covenants. You know, I think any Christian person that plays Warcraft, I don't see how they haven't already made this connection. Or maybe they have and they just think that it's, I don't know. I don't know how anybody can explain it without it being that part. You know, without these all being connected. And oddly enough, I've never even played the game. I've never played the game. I made these connections, and then when I went to go look at like the guilds, that's each group or whatever, they have a Shiva guild, they have a Lilith guild, they have all of these other things that are fitting. Oh, Nephilim, which we have found the giant skulls down in Antarctica. So what's really going on at Blizzard? Do they know something that we don't know? Well, I think we kind of know, especially if you read the Bible. And I know gamers are going to take this as, oh no, no way, you're crazy. It's all a coincidence. Maybe it is. But for someone like myself that has never even played the game before, and to be able to see that just because of scripture, and because of when I was in the Navy and I got pregnant, I was transferred to the Pacific Naval Comm Station, where, as most of you know, I had a top secret security clearance, and many of the guys that I worked with were heavily involved in World of Warcraft. This was 2004-2006 time frame. That's when World of Warcraft just came out. So from what they explained to me, Warcraft is definitely more than what is seen on the surface. And I can make some more videos to make these connections. There is a channel that he does a great job at making connections, but he's so close. He's so close. But then he's not, because he's invested in the game. You see, he's like, no, this can't happen because of this, and I don't think he's Christian, and not that I'm saying you should, I'm saying you should be, but I'm saying these are your warnings, and I'm not somebody that puts out prophetic videos. It's, I don't know, ask Blizzard, I guess. It's just very interesting indeed. But I'll do some more videos and show y'all some pretty insane connections. Okay, so anyway, y'all have a wonderful day. Like, share, and subscribe. Bye guys.